I want to see what this looks like sort of rendered. And so I'm going to go up here. Here's the different ways you can view things. So that's wireframe, that's solid. This is like a cheater's version of a rendered view, and then this is the rendered view. So I can see that I've got my light. It's shining. It's casting a shadow, and I've got my scene right here. Now, oh, the other thing I should say is that, so this is my camera object, and I can move it around, but if I want to see what the camera is seeing, I hit 0 on the numpad, or the insert key on the numpad. Alright, so now I'm seeing what the camera is seeing. My view is locked to the camera, but it's just sort of looking down here. So I'm going to use the rotate and move tools to move this around while I'm inside of it. So I'm going to hit R. That's the rotate key, and I actually want to rotate up and down. So I'm going to hit X next, and that's not quite what I want. So I'm going to hit X again, and that's rotating around the X axis. I'm going to show you a little bit clearer what's happening there. So I'm going to move my mouse up into this corner, not this button, but up in this corner, and click and drag over, and that creates 2 windows here. So I'm going to pan around so I can see the camera object. And I'm going to move my mouse back in here. I'm going to hit R, X, and so you can see that red line that appeared. That's the X-axis that it's rotating around, and that's goofy. That's not what I want. That's called the global axis. So if I hit X again, so in other words, I've hit R, X, and then X, I'm rotating around the local X-axis, which is what I want. So R, X, X, get up there, kind of pointing like that. And then I want to move the camera further away. So I'm going to hit G, Z, Z. So G is move, Z would move it up and down in the global Z axis, but then I hit Z again, and that's the local Z axis, which is basically the direction that the camera is facing. So I can move this like this, and I'm kind of pulling it away. And let's just say I want it to be down a little bit. So GZ, and then RXX again, make it look like that. And over here I can go into the top window and say, I actually want to be over here, GZ. Okay. So I like that. So I've got my camera where I want it to be, and I've got my objects basically where I want them to be. And now I'd like to kind of mess with the light a little bit. So here's this light that's the default light. But that's not the light that I want to use. Pretty much, I very rarely use point lights. So I'm going to hit X to delete that guy. Now the scene's dark. I'm going to hit Shift A to create a new light. And I'm going to create an area light. And you can't see anything because it's right there at the origin. I'm going to hit GZ to pull it up. Right about there. And over here, this is sort of a menu where all sorts of settings come up. And since I've got my light selected, come over here to the light icon, and this gives me access to the controls for the light. So I'm going to change the power to 100 watts, and I'm going to make it 500 watts. Yeah, like that. I'm going to GZ, move it up, and I'm going to move it. So I just hit 5 to go into orthographic, and then 7 to go into top view, and then move the light there. Yeah, like that. And I'm going to go into the side view and rotate it a little bit like that, and then a little bit like that. So it's pointing, and then G and Z, X, excuse me. So it's pointing right there. Cool, I like that. And I'm going to make this kind of a warmer light, like that. And then the size of this light, I'm going to play with. So I'm left clicking and dragging here. I can make it smaller. And I can also type in, 0.1 meters, 5 meters. So you can see as I make it bigger, the shadows are getting softer. And I scroll it down, it's getting like that. So I'm going to set that to 0.5 meters, make it a smaller light. And then I'm going to duplicate this light. I'm going to do that by hitting Shift D. So I'm going to move that over there, and then I'm going to hit RZ to rotate it, and that's good. And I'm going to change the power to something a lot lower, 100, so that's about a fifth, and I'm going to make it a little blue. And one way you can sort of experiment with things to see what's happening is by turning off, other things. So this is my heavier light. I'm going to change this to 0. Okay, so you can see that this light isn't doing very much. 100 watts might have been too low, so I'm going to set it to 250. Okay, so that's actually doing something now. And change this one back to 500. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. Okay, so my lights are good enough for now. I like them. And now we should go into some scene settings. Well, first of all, actually we should save. So that's pretty normal. I'm just going to throw it on my desktop for now. Intro to Blender Tut 1.